Hey guys, Josh Sanch here with the Bodybuilding News Network with our new open bodybuilding lead correspondent here, IFBB Pro 212 and Classic Physique Olympian, and now open competitor Jason Lowe.
Yeah.
Great introduction.
Great introduction.
We're here just outside the expo, a few more hours before finals, and I wanted to get your thoughts, and we wanted to recap it here on the channel, what our thoughts were on open prejudging last night, and then we'll go into our predictions for tonight for finals.
It's a hard thing to do as well because obviously we had a battle last night. I mean, the prejudging, you had a clear top three, obviously, but between Samson, Hadi, and Derek, they all have their strengths, and then they all have areas that they can improve, and they moved them around a lot, and it could go any which way, especially since they have to come back and do it again tonight. They're going to put them through the ringer and through all the rounds opposing again tonight, and in 24 hours your body can change a lot.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know if we really have anyone like a Phil Heath, who is Mr. Saturday Night. I don't know if we have anyone that's historically better on Saturday versus Friday. It's pretty open for that top three. I mean,
yeah.
Any one of those guys could just clean it up, and I don't really think no one was really off. I mean, Derek was just so lights out with the conditioning and the deep detail. Hadi, I thought, looked just as good as last year, if not maybe even a tad bit crisper. And then Samson is just the wild card because every time we get to see him on stage, he's consistently improving and getting bigger, better.
Big time.
The lines are getting cleaner. It's something I don't think we've ever seen before, of someone continuing to grow but still look as sharp.
Yeah, and that kind of size with that still incredible shape and structure and detail and lines, it's only a matter of time for him, I think, before he does win. But I don't know if it's going to be this time because, Derek brought it, Hadi brought it. And I think from the back, Derek and Hadi still have an advantage over Samson a bit. So, I think Samson will be there because he's just, like you said, improving nonstop and making very large improvements from show to show even. But it's going to be tough for him tonight just because of the back shots are so strong with Derek and Hadi, especially Derek.
And that's his biggest weak spot.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, but anything could happen tonight because you come back and one person messes up just a little bit and somebody else comes in sharper, everything could change tonight at finals.
100%. So when we look at our picks for tonight's finals, what do you think is going to be Jason's pick? And then also, what is the more exciting pick? Or is there any difference?
Man, that's a hard one.
It's a great question.
All right, so I will say what I think might happen and what I would like to see happen. Yeah. So I would love to see Samson win, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, just the hard work he puts in ever since I started really paying attention to him when he was stuck in a hotel for like 2 weeks doing push-ups and running in place for the Korea show during COVID or whatever. And like the hard work he puts in and everything, to see that rewarded, it's already being rewarded, but it's just, that he's got an amazing physique and it's just getting better. He's also older a little bit, so Derek's still young. He's got plenty of time, and I think Derek will eventually be there. And if not tonight, but he will be there. But he's got so much time still, And I don't see Samson slowing down any, but he is getting a little older. So, it'd be nice to see him get it sooner than later.
Yeah. So that's your personal pick. What do you think the judges are going to go with?
It's hard. As close as it is, it's hard to see anyone knocking out the current champ because Hadi did still bring it.
You have to knock off the champ. That's the rule.
Yeah, Hadi still brought it. He still looks phenomenal. Like you said, I think he's a little crisper than last year, and he won last year. So, it's hard to say that somebody's going to take him out when he did come in improved from last year.
Yeah. Top 6 women's open bodybuilding competitor just walking by casually.
But that's the fun stuff you see here too. You always see some incredible athletes just walking around being part of the group.
And we're hiding upstairs, so we're not going to see like everyone walking by, like Justin Shire, and there's a couple guys that walked by last night when I was recording. So that's what's fun, and that's what you're missing out if you're staying at home. So make sure you guys come to the Olympia next year as it returns to Las Vegas. Or if you're going to the Arnold Classic, myself and Jason will be there covering the show as live as we can be. We'll see what kind of gear I invest in the time being.
Hopefully next year I'm back up on this stage and not just doing interviews like this.
Preferably, Jason's going to be on stage, and then I get to drag him from going out to eat food before he goes and gets his thoughts real quick before he does that. Yeah. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
So let's talk about the backdrop. Let's talk about the lighting. I thought that there was a lot of good things that happened this year. I didn't see a lot of crazy green flashing strobes, but I still think there is a lot of room to improve coming into 2025. What do you say, Jason?
I still thought there was a lot of distracting lights, flashing strobe lights and just going all in front of the athletes when they're supposed to be putting on their presentation to get judged, and it's very distracting. So I'm not really sure what the thought process was behind that, but there was probably a little less distractions in the actual backdrop. So that's, I guess, maybe a step in the right direction, but it'd still be nice to see a little less going on so we can really focus on the physiques, at least for prejudging. For finals, if they want to make it more of a wild show, I get it, but at least for prejudging, really, I'd like to see it more focused on the athletes and being able to see their physiques to the full potential.
Yeah. And maybe this is a wild thought, but, the expo stage doesn't have a lot of theatrical stuff going on there. And I know that maybe Men's Open wouldn't want to do that in the future, but it's definitely something to consider to remove all those distractions.
Yeah, to remove the distractions. I thought you were saying put the Men's Open on the expo stage, because that would never happen.
Yeah, that's a far-fetched.
The ticket sales would drop drastically if you did that.
You got to think about ticket sales.
Yeah, but this is the Super Bowl. You got to have the guys on the main stage and make it a little more dramatic. But I think there's ways to make it dramatic without distracting.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. So besides the our preview for the finals tonight, lighting and the production, we did hear some news about the Arnold Classic. They've been doing a lot of promotional stuff out here. They're giving the live stream for free in 2024. I think that's pretty exciting, especially with the Olympia live stream being $75. It seems that the price seems to keep increasing every year, but are we really seeing a tangible return on our investment when we look at the price versus what we're actually seeing from the live stream?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the pro shows I think are decent, like reasonably priced. $75. It is the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, the biggest show of the year. So I understand it being a little more expensive, but I don't know about that expensive. Obviously, it's selling. People are paying it. People are willing to do that to watch it. So maybe that's okay. But it's a big step that Arnold's going to make his free, because that puts pressure on everybody else.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Any thoughts on Classic at all?
I caught the end of it, where they brought out the top guys again, and just focusing on the last call out, which was only Chris and Ramon. I think Ramon won a few shots, but I don't know if it was enough to beat Chris. So Ramon brought it. He looked phenomenal, but I don't know if it was enough to knock out the champ.
Right.
But
again, that conversation, you got to knock out the champ.
But Chris brought it too. It's not like Chris looked bad or was way off. So it's tough, because Ramon definitely brought it. That was the best I've seen him, I think. Mm-hmm. So, I would be surprised if Ramon won and Chris didn't, but I wouldn't disagree completely.
See, I'd have to be a little on the opposite. I didn't think it was close enough to have that conversation.
Yeah.
When I look at Chris, I don't know, maybe it's just bias. Maybe I'm just such a big fan. Or I don't follow him, aggressively, but I'm just a fan. And when I look at his physique, it just seems like it's just, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing
it flows
missing.
Very well.
Exactly. And I feel like Ramon still needs a little bit more size in some areas that I can't specifically think of right now. I was taking too many photos. I wasn't paying attention.
I would say, like, as far as the width of the back, Chris has the width on Ramon for sure. Mm-hmm. But if you look at the detail and the definition and everything of the back itself, I like Ramon's back way better.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, they both have their strengths for sure. Chris is way wider, but I like the actual detail and the muscle better in Ramon's back.
Yeah.
I think Ramon's biggest weakness is his hamstrings, probably. He hits that back shot and his glutes are peeled, but I don't see any lines or definition in the hamstrings. Chris hits that and you see definition come all the way up the hamstrings. So that's, I think, the biggest weakness where Ramon kind of falls behind.
Okay, so what are we thinking for the finals? We're thinking if Ramon beats Chris, awesome. If he doesn't, 1 or 2 interchangeable.
Like I said, I would still be surprised if Ramon won.
Yeah.
I would still put my money on Chris probably, but I wouldn't be mad if Ramon won. I would just be shocked. But I mean, he's put in the work, and this is the best he's ever looked, I think. So, second place is still a reward, but I mean, he was second last year, right? So,
right.
I mean, it's just Chris is a tough champ to knock out for sure for anyone. So, it would be a surprise if that happened.
Well, best of luck to Ramon and Chris on that 1-2 battle for the Classic Physique Olympia title tonight here in Orlando, Florida. Also, the 3-way toss-up between Samson, Hadi Choopan, and Derek Lunsford, I think, is going to be a very exciting battle. I'm going to be caffeinated, ready to just watch that whole gosh darn thing. I know Steve Weinberger, the head judge, is going to be running them through a lot of rounds. So it's really going to come down to the battle of attrition and making sure everyone did their homework, right, with the posing and making sure that they're conditioned enough to handle, Olympia level posing rounds.
Go through the rounds and, people will start to fade, and then we'll see who really takes it.
100%. Jason, always a pleasure. Yep. Finally getting to do a little bit more journalism with you. Exciting to see, what the future holds for us here on the Bodybuilding News Network.
For sure, man.
Looking forward to your 2024 season as you continue your road in the open division for the open. Oh, Titus, big man. Holy cow. That's cool that he knows you.
Yeah.
I love, again, more reasons why the Olympia is so cool. But make sure you guys stay tuned for more content here on the Bodybuilding News Network. We'll be recapping the finals here just after the winners are announced, so stay tuned for that. But for myself and Jason here on the Bodybuilding News Network, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, and we'll see you guys after the finals.